I mean, just what you showed me there doesn't seem too bad at all. You know, I've never put a deal together outside of a wholesale deal, you know. So being
Right.
able to put this information together to present it to the funders, that didn't seem that bad actually.
I mean, I'm just going to show you some of the details that I've learned over the last couple of years, some of the stuff to do and some of the stuff not to do. This is how to get funding you need and how to pitch your deal. Okay, you want to get it right the first time. You only have one chance at your first impression. So that's why I put this together, just so you could have some of the fundamentals here. You're only as good as your last deal. And the real estate must be under contract. When anytime you go to talk to somebody about money, you need to have it already wrapped up. You don't want to talk in hypotheticals because that you're just wasting your time and their time, and you want to definitely be respectful of everyone's time and money. You want to aim when your initial contact, you want to aim for about a 3 to 5 minute slide presentation is best if you're doing something like this. If you're talking on the phone, it might be a little different. If you're in person, have your stuff printed out or written out, and you want to what your whole idea is to you want to create enough interest so they want to go into a like a deep dive with you. And less is more, and that's what I was talking about right here. Your objective is to create interest for a deep dive where you can really get into numbers, figures, and more of the details. Kissers, this is something I say a lot, but you want to keep it simple, really simple, especially in the real estate, area. A lot of people like to make stuff complicated. One of the things I liked what Carrie just said, she's simplified a lot of this stuff for you. And that's something, some of the higher level people, they'll want things really simple. The more complicated you make it, the more people, a complicated mind always says no. So just keep that in mind as you're putting your deals together. All right. Your pitch deck, it must be in a presentation format, like a PDF or a PowerPoint. If you know OBS or something like that, you can do that and write it out. If you're in person, bring your journal and have your figures written on your page. That's always really good. I mean, we do a lot of things, especially when you're pitching deals to some of the high level investors out there. They're not necessarily going to be in your town, so you are going to want to make this look as good as you can. Your first slide, you want to get right to the point. You want to, you're going to have some things like how, and I'll give you an example here on one I did just to show you here in a little bit. But the first thing is you want to show how much money you're looking for. What is the opportunity? How much is the return? Okay. How is the investment secured? Is there collateral? Ron just mentioned the point that he's willing to use security on a house he has for money in Hazelwood there. That's a very good way to do it. Put that out front. And how long will the funds be out? Okay, you're going to have an idea of how long their money's going to be out. What's the return on the investment? And typically they do the ROI on an annualized basis, and you can, if it's like 6 months, then you'll cut that in half. I like to do everything a little bit longer though, just to make it look better, and that way you have room for a little bit of leeway because things do happen. All right, the next few slides, what they suggest is the second one. This is the details of the opportunity, the house or business opportunities, some statistics, scope of the work, financials, things like that. The next one is you want to share pictures of the deal, the business, inside out, maybe some location comps, things like that, comparables. And then the next one, then you want to provide information on the background of the principals involved and those wanting the money. You don't necessarily want to tell your story up front. This is not like Shark Tank when you actually talk to investors. You want to they don't really care about your story until they care about the deal. You first got to get their attention and make them interested in the deal to want more information. Then you want to kind of sum it up with a little bit about you. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute. You want to be professional. This is something I've seen, I don't know how many times over the last couple of years. People just, you want to make your presentation on a computer, not a cell phone. I've seen people in coffee shops and all, the things dropping, all kinds of craziness. dress for success. You don't necessarily want to, need to wear necessarily a tie or something, but to look like you care enough. There was somebody a couple weeks ago talking about they did not get money from somebody. This was early on, a few years back, and the guy, somebody else asked him down the, several weeks later why they didn't invest with this guy. He said the guy didn't even care enough to shine his shoes. He had some old ragged shoes on when he met him, and this was an in-person meeting. So just kind of keep that kind of stuff in mind. Practice before you pitch your deal. I don't know how many times I've seen this, even in the last couple of weeks. People put their stuff together, but they didn't practice it. I mean, we've all been on Zoom now. Some of us since, for 15 years, but everybody's been on Zoom for the last 2 or 3 years. So at least know how the stuff works, how to unmute your stuff, how to change your slides, practice a little bit. Situational awareness. This is something that that I've noticed that a lot of people don't pay attention to. This is actually critical when you come to talking to people, especially when you're getting money, because you do only have one opportunity for your first impression. And here's a sample deal I put together. Now, these are just some figures I threw together. Your deal will be different. This is for a fix and flip, which seems to be what most people are looking for early on, but it doesn't have to be. If you're going to have a buy and hold or something like that, maybe you can't qualify for traditional financing. Maybe you can, but what happens a lot of times, you run out of money or you have too many deals coming in, depending on who you are. So this is just how we put these together, and you can kind of craft yours around your deal, around your actual numbers. This one here we put together, just call this STL rehab. The investment opportunity or ask, in this case, the numbers we're using is $174,000. And again, you need to have this under contract. So we'd say by, I don't know, February 1st or March 1st or whatever the date may be, this is when we need the money by. Okay, our return, we're going to return you for your $174,227,500 in 12 months. That's the ROI, return on investment, which would be about 31%. That'll be adjusted more or less depending on when you actually return the funds. Investment is secured by real estate. You're going to want to secure it in the first position with the home here. Then again, if maybe you don't have a lot or there isn't enough, you can use your personal real estate. Just kind of like Ron told us earlier, this is something you can do. It's highly recommended, even if you don't need it, because you're just showing that you're willing to back up what you're talking about here, and you're going to look at more of the person as a person of value, which is huge when you're asking for money. Then in this case, we're going to say we estimate 6 to 9 months. So, but we did illustrate our ROI on 12 months just for illustrative purposes. If it's better, then it's going to turn out better. Again, if it's 6 months, you're going to double that, but usually that's not the case. A little more details on our next slide here. We talk about we got the address, and then, this in this particular case, this is a 3-2, 1,285 square foot. This is kind of some pictures of the inside. Our contract price, we're going to say, is $119,000. Again, our closing date, whatever that might be, March 1st, February 1st, whatever that is. We're going to estimate our rehab cost about $55,000, and this is, of course, going to be adjusted. You're going to go over the complete details in your deep dive whenever you have that set up, but that's going to be in this case, for our example, we're going to say $45,000. Then I always like to have what they call the unknown or the fudge factor, $10,000. This could be extra holding costs, closing costs, whatever may come up. You might open up a wall and find out you got something else, or maybe a permit you didn't count on. Even though most of us, around that we're asking for money, we have a little bit of experience, but there are unknowns almost every time. Just ask anybody that's ever done a rehab and ask them if everything went perfect. I've never found the answer to be yes, but that's something I like to leave a little bit of money in here for that. ARV, in this case, we're going to guesstimate at 285 plus or minus. And here's how we break this down. In this case, we're going to have a profit of $111,000. We're going to split this 50-50 with the money person, okay, the investor. In this particular case, $55,500. But this is what makes, this is what's going to set you different for most of the pitches I see out there. The ones that get funded easier is another another way to put it, is you'll guarantee the minimum for like an investor of 50,000. So let's say the deal doesn't go exactly as planned, and let's say your profit is only 90,000 or 80,000 or whatever the case may be. You still guarantee a minimum of 50,000 for the investor, no matter what goes on. If something goes wrong, you're willing to take that upon yourself. Now, the next slide we have, this would be like your comps or comparables. And this, you want to do a little bit of homework here, because I guarantee you, if somebody gets down to the point where they're interested enough to find out more details, they are going to see your figures, and you don't want to have anything too far off. So in this case here, we've got one comp. It's a 3-2, similar, 1,192 square foot, sold October 27th for 293,000. We've got another one here that's fairly close by, 13 to 112 square foot. It's a 2-2, sold back in June for 313. Now the market has changed a little bit since then too, so you want to keep all that in mind, because the markets do change, and you want to pretty much be up on that as much as you can. The third one we got here is a little bit smaller in square foot, a little bit less money. It's a little bit different house. This was not rehabbed. So you can have all those details together when you get ready to really go over the details on your deep dive here. Then you tell a little bit about yourself. You could just, then they're ready a little bit for your story. Don't give too much of your story unless people ask for it, though. In this case, we're going to call ourselves the STL Profit Kings. And I'll be the owner here. I'm Freddie Faguberg. Here's my email, profitfred@stlprofitKings.com. If there's any questions before we get together with more details. We've been 3 years in our business here as the Profit Kings, but I've had 10 years experience in construction. Okay, and then we've done 4 fix and flips in addition to our regular construction work we do. We've done 4 fix and flips in the last 3 years. Our profit ranged from $43,300 to $101,500, and they've ranged from 4 months to 9 months. Then we're going to have our deep dive, and I recommend you already have the schedule. And our Q&A on Zoom, we're going to have it Tuesday, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and then have your date, have your link all set up for anybody that wants more information. You can give that to them readily and have it readily available for them, because people will sign up right away. Tuesdays seem to be good days. I don't know. There's a lot of psychology that goes behind a lot of these things, but Tuesdays is a good day in the afternoon to ask for money. You notice I put Eastern time on there. Most people go by either Eastern time or Pacific time. I recommend Eastern time just because people are a little more, more used to getting that. And a lot of people get confused on Pacific time. I know I do too. I do a lot of things, but if it's too late too, it's, I fall asleep a lot of times late at night on some of the Pacific time meetings. So just be aware, and, then again, just have situational awareness when you want to do this, or find out, who your audience is and what time and day is best for them. It could be different. Okay, we're just going to wrap it up here with a couple things. How to get funding you need, get it right the first time. That's huge. You don't get a second chance for a first opinion here. Before you pitch, you must have a deal. This is what a lot of people miss. There's a lot of people that don't know how to get deals. It takes a long time to really figure it out. You're not going to just necessarily go get a deal that's listed. That's not necessarily a deal if it's on the MLS. This is something you're going to have to know how to do, and that comes from experience or from getting in the right groups. Under promise and over deliver. This is huge, because most of us, even us experienced a little bit, but especially when we're new, we want to always talk about the best possible scenario. My recommendation is do the best possible scenario, the worst possible scenario, and the most likely possible scenario. You should base your numbers and your opinions on the most likely, or even possibly the worst. I like to use the worst numbers because there's so many things you don't count on. That's what comes up a lot. So just keep that in mind, because you only got one shot at it. If you don't have a good deal, you're not going to get funded the next time. Treat investors' money and time with more respect than your own. That's again, I like to use a minimum guarantee when you're talking about it. We're going to split the money 50-50, but I'm going to guarantee you, X amount of dollars no matter what. Respect that. I'll tell you what, you will go further than anything else by doing that. I've seen people not do that, and not only will you not get another deal. I've seen lawsuits. People come after you for lawsuits because I guarantee you they can afford probably a lawyer that can beat up your lawyer. So just keep that all in mind when you're doing this. Just respect their money and their time. If something goes bad, be on top of it. Be honest, be transparent about the stuff also. Um, and investors, we talked a little bit about this, but investors and high level people actually they invest in people and not necessarily deals. Okay, deals is what you must have, but you must be a person of integrity. And that goes right along with here. What kind of person are you when the deals go bad? Because the deals do go bad. Have yet to see anyone that's had 100%, record. The deals do go bad. And are you a person of value? Are you willing to take the loss? How much are you willing to eat up of your own time and money to be a person of value? That's, because you'll move up a lot further than a lot of people out there just by doing what you say and being a person of value. And again, I got this from T. Harv Eker many years ago, and you hear some people say this now. But how you do anything is how you do everything. And watch this on how you talk to people and what they say and what they do, because this if they do stuff on the little things, if they fudge, if they do things wrong, they're going to do it on everything. So just keep that in mind as you're dealing with people and as you're thinking about what you're doing. Get it right the first time. Keep learning. This is an ongoing thing. Most of these things that I have here, I've learned in the last couple of years because I've pitched lots of deals and I've seen people do it. This is actually the way to do it, how to get funded that I've learned from some pretty high level people. So just keep learning. You want to develop profit sharing partnerships and win-win-win. Okay, that's what it's all about. Even if you're willing to, give the money person a little bit more money, you're looking for a long-term relationship. Profit sharing partnerships is what you really want. And win-win-win deals, there's always at least three people involved in the deal or three parties. Make sure everybody wins. One of the things that I've heard a lot lately is who wins if I win? And you want to, Ramy Albatraoui, he's written a book, can you think and grow rich? It kind of goes along with the original Napoleon Hill version, except he's a billionaire now. He was broke and homeless back like 4 years ago, and he rebuilt everything, got sued by the government. It's a longer story if you want to look him up. But one of the things he goes by is who will win if I win? And that's how you want to approach every deal. Don't necessarily look at only me, and what am I going to get out of it? Because you want to make sure everybody profits because you want profit sharing partnerships. Real estate, and you want to be here, network with us every week. I mean, this is a place you can come and share your deals. We have no cost to, for this. We've done this. It'll be going in 5 years coming up here in the spring. This is with STLREIA members and guests. We have people from all over the country. We also have people, a lot of international people that have tuned in. We've had people from India, from New Zealand, from Australia, from all over the place. And you're always welcome to come here. It is no cost. We just get here to share deals, talk about things. I mean, we're not necessarily recommending anybody, but we talk, and you can find out a lot of things here. A lot of deals are done here. STLREIA, the St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association. If you're not a member, I'd recommend you become one. Our membership, we're all volunteers here right now, so we're volunteering our time. We pay the same dues as everybody else. It's still only $75 a year, and that's for you and your business partner. That's two people at the same address. So if you're at different addresses, you get two memberships. I mean, it's only $75. We are nonprofit. There's a lot of groups out there. And there's a lot of good groups too. There's a lot of them that are for profit. They charge a lot more money on their memberships, and then they sell programs and things. Nothing wrong with that. Just be aware of that. And then there's a lot of groups out there that just want to sell their deals, and that's why they've gotten together. Nothing wrong with that either. But I would highly recommend extra due diligence if you're talking to a group like that, because a lot of times what I've seen is the deals are not necessarily they'll say they're off-market deals and not necessarily listed. A lot of them, there's a reason they're not listed, because maybe they cannot sell them somewhere else. If you're new, even if you're, we talk about starters or part-timers. There's a lot of people with full-time jobs, but still do this. Still invest in real estate. We have a lot of people in our group like that, which is good that we call them part-timers, but they still have, they're still full-time in real estate and their regular jobs. Then we have a lot of people, like myself and like a lot of us here that we consider lifetimers. It's in our blood. You can't get away from it. So, and the only other thing, if you want to get a hold of me, or I've got some other resources and things. Here's just one of my websites. You can go there and get some things at no cost. And there's just some more things you'd like to know.